We're not politically correct, we just have common sense.
Unscripted, unfiltered, unfaltering. Show of Support's Hunt for Heroes offers tributes and true stories of remarkable courage.
That these terrorists could come in your bedroom and kill you, your wife, and your kids. And that's what these men are fighting to protect us from, these murdering idiots. And they're taking them out so that we don't have to deal with them over here.
Show of Support started it all just after the shock and awe bound the nation together. Now, years of footage portraying wounded veterans, deer stands, and standing ovations. Hunt for Heroes, that started as one man's way to say thanks, is now a series that many say is way overdue.
This is something I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
It's just a raw emotion.
It's been like a dream. It really has.
We still have 40,000 injured troops. It's going to take a while to get around all of them, but there's no quitting. It'll never stop as long as I'm breathing. Out in the middle of the desert, I call it the Sonoran Desert, and it's just a beautiful oasis out here. There's no other place like this lake in the world, Lake Amistad here in Del Rio. It's a border lake that divides America and Mexico. The water is crystal clear, the water's deep, it's full of fish. It's been here a long time. It's a huge lake. It's almost like being out on the ocean in some parts of it. But fishing is absolutely fabulous. They hold lots of tournaments here, all different kinds of Bassmaster Classics, all types of tournaments are held here on a regular basis.
Some people say this massive stretch of endless crystal clear water is what separates two nations. And some say it's what joins two nations. Lake Amistad's reputation for largemouth bass fishing is bigger than life. And of the hundreds of anglers that work its depths and its edges, few have more passion than Zane Holly and Cale Sanders.
It's my first time. I didn't even know what Del Rio was.
Zane is a United States Marine, still recuperating from 4 explosions in Afghanistan. His guide and fishing partner is Cale. The wind is whipping across this huge lake, but it hasn't hurt their spirits.
So I'm originally from Eugene, Oregon, where it's cold and wet and raining right now, and got asked to come out here for a fishing tournament and enjoy the good weather, so I came down in a heartbeat. Oh, this lake's massive. It's absolutely huge. And being able to see that far down and the vegetation and even the fish swimming by, when you're right over top of them, just dangling that lure, it's incredible. It's not something that I've ever got to experience before.
Troy Givens and his guide Joe Lyles are miles away from Zane and Cale. They may be facing the same gale force wind. However, they're not having the same luck. But luck is something Lieutenant Troy Givens knows a little about. He too found himself staring in the face of death, only to be rescued just before his final heartbeat.
I just want to say thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you being here. What y'all do and have done for this country and us, that's why we can do what we do tonight. And that's why we can have this bass tournament and we have the freedoms that we've got in the United States. I want to say thank you very much. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be in your company, in my opinion. And I just want to give you a hand. Thank you very, very much.
It's a huge bass tournament, and it all begins the night before in Del Rio, Texas.
Tournament's called CBT Charities. It's a nonprofit that was founded by a man named Mark Mabe, who works with Chesapeake Energy. He and a bunch of his co-workers came to our first banquet. They saw what we were attempting to do. They wanted to see us continue doing what we were doing and help in any way they could. And one of the ways was helping raise some funds. So they got together and came up with a fishing tournament. It started out small, as most things do, and it's grown over the years. It's just a great opportunity for guys to come out and enjoy each other, have a great experience fishing, and they love a good cause. And this is a good cause, whether I'm doing it or anybody else is doing it. Anytime you're treating our wounded, injured veterans to a good time out on the lake and trying to do things to better their lives and their experiences, it's a good thing for everybody.
Don't mind wearing those tomorrow night.
As Zane, Troy, and the rest of the heroes pay attention, Mark Mabe hands out all of the fishing gear. Everything they would need for fishing one of the best bass lakes in America.
The night before we went out, the first day of fishing, we went and I met Mark, and I saw Terry and saw the guys I'd done the show support hunt with. Everybody was real nice. I ate, I had a beer, and we were just talking, and they gave me some shirts and hats, and I was like, oh, I have stuff to wear tomorrow. I thought we were just going to use the guy's stuff on the boat. And then they lined us up, and they gave us those rod and reels and the tackle box and another thing full of snacks. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
In the beginning, when Mark started this, like I say, it was just a fishing tournament, and then they'd have a fundraising event at a banquet. A few years ago, he asked me what I thought about bringing a couple of our guys who had taken part in our program and let them come see, and then also let the folks here see what they're helping to support. So we brought 5 in this year. But it's an opportunity to put these injured veterans, and they'll put them with some of their better fishermen that know the lake, fish here a lot, enter them in the tournament just alongside everybody else.
It's the biggest fundraiser of the year for Terry Johnson and Hunt for Heroes. It's here where Show of Support gets the money to take the heroes on deer hunts and continue with their mission of extending the hand of gratitude, like he's done for so many years.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much. Y'all have fun.
I never want to be like anything but a Marine. I was injured in Afghanistan in 2010. We were on patrol. Some guy had waved us over, some local national. We went and talked to him. He said they had put in an IED, and when he showed it to me, it was behind me already. So it kind of cut off our egress route, and I called it up, and they blew it right then. It knocked me out.
That blast wasn't enough to keep Zane out of action.
And I came back, and it was my first patrol. I was in the vehicle, and the vehicle got blown up. And I took some shrapnel on my elbow. Nothing crazy, nothing like bad, but just rocks and stuff they put inside them.
Again, after recuperating, Zane returns to his unit.
I'd been back for like 2 weeks, and we were on patrol again. The mine roller ran over an IED and blew up, and that just kind of knocked me down.
Stubborn to see more idiot extremists bite the dust, Zane somehow got back to his original assignment.
Again, we were on patrol, and we were escorting a colonel around, and their vehicle got hit. So, it's 4 kind of back to back. I have trouble here and there. It's a lot of head trouble. I have like blackouts a lot, and if I don't keep my medicine around, I get a headache. It'll put me down for a while.
28 December, I was operating out of Conduce with 2nd Engineer Battalion, and we were running a logistics patrol up to one of the combat outposts, dropping off some equipment. And about a half hour after we dropped off the equipment, we turned around to come back to the FOB, and I was the 5th vehicle in line, and we hit an IED. My vehicle, which was an M-ATV, was thrown 20 feet in the air and flipped over, and it landed in a crater. My gunner suffered a concussion, my driver suffered a few injuries, and I was laying under the vehicle trapped in a muddy, wet hole. Not knowing what had gone on, I did the fingers and toes check, wiggle your ears, blink your eyes, wiggle your nose, make sure things are still working. I couldn't feel my legs. And I tried to feel them physically, patting down, but I couldn't get past a certain portion of my thigh because it was underneath the vehicle. I didn't know if they had been severed, if they were crushed, if I was bleeding, I didn't know. And I was under there for about an hour before they were able to get a wrecker out there to slowly hoist me out of this crater. Sitting there trapped in that vehicle, not knowing what's going on, not knowing if you had your legs, experiencing these lightning bolts of god-awful pain shooting up and down your spine, with uncontrollable screams, and there's nothing you can do about it, no matter the morphine that they give you. And then coming to the realization that this may be it. And then having the vehicle catch on fire, in addition to all that going on, really solidifies in your mind that this could be it.
Tell me what that is.
So this is the hardware that was taken out of my spine and pelvis on 30 January of this year. So these two blue ones were in my pelvis. There were 4 of these green ones going straight into my spine. And I had 2 metal rods like this paralleling my spine, keeping my spine and pelvis all held together in one unit so that it didn't move around, because I broke my spine in such a way that it dislocated from the pelvis. And a lot of people ask me why I carry that bag of parts with me when I go places. It's because I have something I can contribute to the fellow wounded warriors, and it's just a testament to where you can go from where you've been. I've been in the hospital, I've been there, I've done that. I know what it's like to have the doctors come in and say, we may or may not take your leg, you may or may not walk again. Sitting in the hospital wondering if you're even going to survive because you've got tubes coming out of you that was even possible to do. So it's my way of saying, you can do it. I know it sucks, I know it's painful, but I'm standing here talking to you now as a testament of it is possible. Don't give up.
Outside the hotel in Del Rio, Troy Givens fine-tunes his fishing gear for the next day of tournament fishing. Something to take his mind off his injuries and the recovery that seems to last forever. The wind blows and fish play havoc with a soldier's nerve.
Oh, not yanking that hook hard enough.
When Show Support's Hunt for Heroes continues. Stay with us.
The guys that they select to fish with these guys look forward to it all year long. It's something they can't wait to do. They want to be able to spend some time with these guys on the water. Some of these guys have fished and they can fine-tune their skills. Some of them have never fished and they can teach them how to catch bass. The guys that get the hands-on experience with these veterans really look forward to it and really get a lot out of it.
Somebody from Show Sport called me out of the blue and asked me if I want to go fishing. And I said, I love fishing. If I'm not hunting, I'm fishing. The water's crystal clear, and it was totally different style fishing. Like, when he said we're gonna be fishing top waters in 10 foot of water, I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's the biggest fundraiser for the Show Support Hunt for Heroes, a huge fishing tournament down here on the United States-Mexico border at Lake Amstead. And Cale Sanders is fishing with United States Marine Zane Holly. And it seems this accidental partnership with gale force winds is actually paying off.
We fished fast the whole day. We didn't take any breaks. We got in the water early. It was a good time. And if we weren't catching bass, we were catching sand bass and not sand bass stripers. We were always catching something.
Nice! Nice! Yeah! I fly fish more than anything back home. We don't have a whole lot of bass fishing back in Oregon. So largemouth bass fishing is a whole new world.
Miles away, Lieutenant Troy Givens and his fishing partner Joe Lyles are not contributing much to the live well. In fact, the high wind is the worst time for Troy, who's not quite used to bait cast reels.
We didn't catch a whole lot of fish, but he's a great guy. We had a great time. He was a good guide, taught me how to use a casting reel. It's not something I used before. He did teach me to perfect undoing the backlash. Got real good at that. Awesome.
From bird nest to backlashes, Troy Givens sees his chance of taking home the grand prize sinking.
See, I figured out, Joe, if I backlash it, it gives me enough time just to let it sit. So I really do it on purpose, just as a tool. Oh, damn, that's a good one.
I kept telling Kel, I was like, we need to get bigger fish, we need to get bigger fish. And then we caught 1 bass, 2 bass, 3 bass, and we got our limit. When you start culling fish and you get those bigger fish and you're throwing those small ones out, that's when in my head I was like, okay. I was like, it's only 8:30 and we're already culling fish. So I'm like, we got a shot to win this. Everything clicked.
Bad thing is that ain't gonna help us.
We didn't ever cross each other's path. When he caught one, I'd get down there and lip it or net it, and same for me. It just worked. The team worked. It was awesome. It was really fun.
Hard to believe Troy and Joe are on the same lake as Zane and Cale. Team Givens just can't seem to find any concentrations of sizable black bass. But Troy seems to be taking it all in stride.
Catching fish is always a great time, but coming out here and learning something new that I've never got to experience before, different techniques, seeing different parts of the country and how people fish, and this is something that they do not so much for a living, but as a hobby. They fish like this all the time. So it's really interesting to see that and get to experience what other people experience. And I really enjoyed the camaraderie and getting to meet somebody else and have them teach me how to do something, and then doing fairly well at it. We had a good time.
You want to take a shot at your weight? 15 pounds. 1604.
Weigh-in for that day begins at 2 o'clock, and with 100 teams, tournament organizer Mark Mabe has his hands full.
672, big fish.
That's a big fish right there.
How you doing?
Team 6. Team 6. 5 fish. Team 6.
Mark Mabe has a million things he could be doing with his weekends. But ever since he attended his first show of support hunt for Heroes Banquet in Midland, Texas, this oil field executive has generated crucial funding to help keep Show of Support going. He's lost count of how many largemouth bass he's weighed in at these tournaments. But one thing for sure, Mark Mabe won't stop until every hero has been on one of Terry Johnson's deer hunts. With each weigh-in at each tournament, money is raised to cover the enormous cost for so many heroes to go hunting.
746.
The wind finally dies. The sun breaks, and a Marine holds what could be the winning stringer out of 100 teams.
Bad, buddy.
When Show of Support hunt for heroes continues. Stay with us.
I want to welcome y'all to the 7th annual Chesapeake CBT Charity.
Oil field executive Mark Mabe may be the master of ceremonies at this huge banquet after the first day of fishing. But his first duty is bringing Terry Johnson up on stage.
Terry and I have become pretty good friends over the last several years.
This is where Terry Johnson tells the story of 5 heroes who risked everything so that we could live. And one by one, these heroes are recognized and applauded.
Sergeant Zane Holly. First Lieutenant Troy Givens.
It's something that you can't really describe. You have to feel it. You have to sit there and be in the audience and see how all these people dedicate their time, their money, and their effort to show you a good time, and show you how much they appreciate what you've done for their country.
He's got multiple fractures, dislocations.
After everyone hears the stories of these heroes, the plates get shoved aside and the hands start to rise. Shotguns, deer hunts, and even pistols go up on the block.
3,500 right there, I need 4. Got 35 over here. Pick up one side. Let me see if you can pick it up.
It was the largest Yeti cooler I've ever seen in my life. Nobody knows what's in it. It's sealed. You're bidding on what's in there, sight unseen.
We got 22,000 right here.
I've never in my life seen anybody continue to bid on something they have no idea, sight unseen, what they're bidding on. Every time somebody's hand went up in the air, I figured, okay, that's it.
I got 25,000 over there.
Thoughts were going through my head. How many more guys are going to get to go? How much more we're going to get to do for them? The generosity that the people were showing and raising the bid, it just humbles me more. Excites me also that we're going to get to do what we do bigger and better.
Right now, and I won't give me another chance to bid. Give me 35 and I'll...
That was an unbelievable amount of money and an unbelievable patriotic woman who ended the evening. Little does she know what she will help us accomplish, and little does she know what she will make happen with what she did tonight.
You always hear people saying everything is bigger in Texas, and that is for damn sure. I truly would not imagine this occurring anywhere else in the country.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's give everybody a big hand. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, about 2 o'clock they start coming in from the lake. It's weigh-in time, and this year they had about 108 teams, so you had lots of boats lined up to come weigh their fish, and it was a great tournament this year. It's like everybody caught fish and had their 5-stringer limit. But I like being at the weigh-in because I like seeing the excitement of the guys when they come up with their bag of fish. They'll have their fishing bag waiting in line, and they're excited.
And we changed the rules a little bit. For every ounce of metal in my body, we're adding a pound. So add 14 pounds to the...
When we got back in the docks, my guide and I got our picture taken with our 4 biggest fish, and that's a picture that I'll have for the rest of my life that I can use to start a conversation, or people are going to ask me about it. It's something I can pass on to my kids someday.
Let's look at this one right here. Let's weigh that one. We're weighing big fish, David.
As it turns out, Zane Holly and Cale Sanders take 3rd place out of 100 teams. That would be a first for the Show of Support fishing tournaments. Terry Johnson's Show of Support hunt for heroes has grown far beyond his wildest imagination, and so have the expenses. But this is the kind of thing that is born out of humbleness, raised on promise, and nurtured with faith. CBT Charity and the people of West Texas rally around a cause and bring home the fruits of a lot of work. They may have battled the wind, lost fish, and lost sleep, but similar to what we've said before, this truly is fishing's finest hour.
I now know a place that people care in, it's West Texas, and it shows support. It's the most, I can't put into words. I keep stuttering because I can't put into words. It is the single most awesome experience I've had since I've been out of the military.